Welcome in to Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk, the second of two streams that I, your humble co-host, Pugs Moran, execute. Too wordy. My second stream of the day. The first one comes at noon every day. We call that high noon. That's topics. Headlines, hot takes. That's my part of it. All the things that you need to know so that you don't feel like you're behind on things. If it's happening in this day, I'll cover it at noon. I go through it. It's like topic, boom, hot take, gone. Next topic, boom, hot take, gone. Hi, John. Look at John. John's in San Diego tonight. John, boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, he is a jet-setting gallivanter. I come through the high noon show. Needs to be established. We do that every Monday through Friday. Noon to whenever, noon to 2. It's like noon to 2. Today we went to 2:30. Some days we go to 3. And then I come back and we do this. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk, presented by the Radio Misfits podcast platform. And without further ado, let's bring in James Parker. And oh, he's not there. Look at that. He's not there. He's going to be there any second.
Hey there.
Okay, a little extended applause for you. They were waiting for you. You made them wait.
Yeah, well, I appreciate their patience. Hopefully, it'll be worth the wait.
You had to get your
beverage set up. Yeah,
I saw that. When you're drinking that like frat boy stuff, you're like 50 years old and you're still swilling that frat boy garbage. What are you drinking?
Man, so I found a clearly Canadian, something I hadn't seen since like my sophomore year of high school.
Wild cherry, by chance?
No, I did orchard peach.
Okay, very nice.
As opposed to all those peaches that don't come from orchards, I suppose.
Right, the ones that are growing dumpsters.
It's one of these rules now of modern flavors that it can't just be the damn flavor. There has to be an adjective in front of it. It can't just be vanilla ice cream. It's like homemade vanilla or French vanilla or home style vanilla or vanilla bean. So it's one of those forced adjectives, but it was at the forefront of the forced adjective movement in, food advertising.
Do you know why that is? The forced adjective phenomena?
I don't know, because it sounds better, because some pencil neck geek in the marketing department swears this is better.
To a degree, because the world is run by bullshit artists. That's why. And anything that is more alliterative and that seems like it's hard, there's more to it. Like just peach. You're not going to want peach. Everybody knows what a peach sounds, but an orchard peach. Okay, that conjures images of freshness and all this. Do you know where that also plays really big right now? And this was a conversation I was having with somebody just this past weekend. There is no longer a minor league baseball team with one name. Every single of course, there's an exception for teams that have been around for 50 years, but every new minor league team that has sprung up in these new leagues are all the Appalachia Mountain Bats or the River Bandits. Or
Mudcats,
tree snails. It's all like bam, bam. It's two words. There is no such thing as just like, the Cubs or the Martindale Bears. That does not work anymore. If you looked, I came across this thought when I was looking through the White Sox minor league system, and it's all the Cannonballers, the Golden Knights, and it's like, what the hell happened? What is with all the... And then I looked at the standings in the league that they play in, and I'm like, holy shit. Every single one of these teams has Jeffrey Ballard offers the Iowa Cubs. That team's been around for 70 years. I'm talking really about
the new ones. Yeah. And it's funny you say that because
when Rough Riders, it's all like
right. Frisco Rough Riders. And so there was the New Orleans AAA baseball team that changed their name. I think because they were from one word, they had to accommodate the new 2-word rule. So they went from being the New Orleans Zephyrs to the New Orleans Baby Cakes.
Baby KC too. It's all about just cramming as much as you can. Hi, Leslie. Al's here. Byron's here. My boy Jeff is here. Jefferson Glenn Wright the fourth is here. Okay, all right, they're coming in. Ed's here from
Hey, Ed.
Rocket City Trash Pandas. Yeah, there are some awesome minor league baseball team names.
Right. Trash Pandas. Good call, Ed.
Is that a real team?
Yes. Yeah. I thought we talked about it on the show. I might
Gonna,
have talked about it on another show, but I talked about it on a show.
hold on. Let me see. I'm just gonna see what comes up here. I just put best minor league baseball team names. Let's see what they give us. The Flying Squirrels, the Pussycats.
Mm.
All right, for some
Excuse
reason.
me?
Spinning. You got the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Everett
Iron Pigs. Love
yeah,
it. Like pig iron, but
the,
iron pigs. I see what they did there.
the Everett Aqua Sox, the Bowie Bay Sox, the Augusta Green Jackets, the Richmond Flying
Oh, I like
Squirrels.
that one. The Augusta Green Jackets. They named it after the Masters.
Well, wait, now we actually got a couple here that are just one name. We got the Modesto Nuts. But see, that's funny. That's like that's funny, right? You maybe they could be the salty nuts or the honey nuts or something, but
Big nuts.
nuts, that's funny. You leave that alone. If your team name is nuts. What else do we have here? The Auburn Double Days. Yeah, see,
I don't even know what that's a reference to, but it's probably something cool and
Alexander
local.
Doubleday, the guy who invented baseball. The inventor of baseball was Alexander Doubleday.
I just learned that today. Okay.
Really? You didn't know that?
I'm sure I've heard it in the past, but it didn't stick.
The Aberdeen Ironbirds. The okay, well now actually now.
Oh, because like in Boeing's up there, right? Isn't that their bit?
Yeah, I guess. Let me just pull in a regular stand.
Byron says there's a team called the Beaver Snatchers. That's too good. I would already own it. I would already own a jersey, Byron.
We got the El Paso Chihuahuas, but that's a big word.
And that's so disappointing because they used to be the El Paso Diablos.
How about
I have family from there, and I went to a Diablos game when I was a kid.
Well, maybe they're still there. Maybe this is just a different team.
No, I think they.
How about the Binghamton Rumble Ponies? Oh, I want a Rumble Ponies jersey. That seems cool. Or the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the Omaha Storm Chasers, the Inland Empire 66ers. Okay, that's a little bit different. Rocket City Trash Pandas. There you go. The Rocket City Trash Pandas, Huntsville, Alabama's storied status as a hub for the aerospace and defense industry. The result, a glorious pairing of the city's longstanding nickname with a slang term for raccoons. The Akron Rubber Ducks, the Amarillo Sod Poodles, the Norwich Sea Unicorns. I mean, everything's
That's embarrassing.
What are sod poodles?
Yeah, there's not a good answer for that. That's something that's a stretch because in New Orleans, when they named their mascot the Baby Cakes, what they really named it was a King Cake Baby. But I don't know why they didn't stick with King Cake Baby. But their mascot was a King Cake Baby. They just called them the Baby Cakes. And Baby Cakes isn't a thing in New Orleans. There's no such thing as a baby cake in New Orleans. But to the outside world, y'all have all heard the term Baby Cakes and not King Cake Baby.
Yeah.
And then the mascot looked like an absolute nightmare, just scaring children and whatnot. And so everyone hated it for a year. And then the second year, everyone loved the baby precisely because it was a walking nightmare. And they're like, let's get our picture taken with the devil baby, the demon baby. This will be great.
It looks like a demon.
It looks scary as hell.
Scary?
Yeah.
All right. 25 coolest team names. The Vermont Lake Monsters.
All right. That's pretty cool.
I like that. The Montgomery Honey Biscuits. All right. The Jamestown Jammers. The Kannapolis Intimidators. Okay, there's another one with just one name. The Clinton Lumber Kings. All right.
Cool.
Fort Wayne Tin Caps. The Savannah Sand Gnats. Let's see here. What else do we have?
See, people are trying to have a kitschy name so they stand out, and my God, maybe sell a little bit of merch here. So the minor leagues do not get, the glow that you get from making it to the playoffs or the World Series. No one cares unless you have a freak of a mascot.
Yeah, I actually have a Kannapolis Cannonballers T-shirt, which is a Chicago White Sox single A team, and they have the coolest logo I've ever seen. It's like a crazy guy from the turn of the century with one of those mustaches, and he's sticking
Huh.
his head out of a cannon like he's being shot out of a cannon, like he's like a cannonballer. All right, how about the Auburn Double Days? We talked about them. The South Bend Silver Hawks, the Omaha Storm Chasers. We mentioned them. The Bowling Green Hot Rods, the Tennessee Diamond Jacks.
That's cool.
Colorado Springs Sky Sox, Quad City River Bandits, Richmond Flying Squirrels, New Orleans Zephyrs.
Yeah, well, they ain't the Zephyrs anymore.
The
And I
Zephyrs
think they
anymore.
moved to Topeka anyway this year.
All right. Then we've got the Toledo Mud Hens, made famous by MASH. The Toledo Mud Hens were Klinger's favorite team. He wore a Toledo Mud Hens hat. Let's see
When
what
he
else
was
we have here. The Chattanooga Lookouts. It's kind of two words. Chattanooga's a big one to begin with. So you're worried about space on the jersey at that point.
we're already up to 4 syllables.
The Albuquerque Isotopes. They're like a classic one because they were made famous by The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
Frisco Rough Riders coming in at number 2. Coolest minor league team names. And number 1, the Lehigh
Well, they're
Valley.
named after a condom, right?
The Rough Riders. Yes, gay sex. They were named after gay sex. That's what the Rough Riders are named after. Not Teddy Roosevelt and his band of Rough Riders. No, they're named after gay sex.
No, they're named after there's a condom variety. One of the condom companies has it's a marketing gimmick. It's called the Rough Rider.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, you don't use condoms, or
No.
you would, you sinner.
See, Rough Riders is a term for a type of gay man who prefers the kind of sex that gay people have, sans lubrication.
Stop it, man.
I'm just telling you. That's what.
Thanks for the update.
And isn't it funny that like Frisco, it's like San Francisco Rough Riders? It's like I think there's a little bit too much going on there. Somebody in the marketing department, he was thinking that when they came up with it. Yeah, exactly. And of course, number 1, Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
I like that.
Number 1. Hey, James, are we doing a monologue? Do we have a monologue?
Yes, I mailed it a little late here, but it should be
That's
there.
okay, as long as it's there when I open it up. All right. 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest stage, high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. Our first entertainer tonight is a man known the globe around. He brings mirth, happiness, chuckles, and joy. Ladies and gentlemen, James the Iron Pig Parker.
Yep, still don't know what myrrh is. But hey there, Russian civil rights groups are reporting that President Putin's enemies are being tortured in dungeons. According to reports, the prisoners have been beaten, shocked, and forced to watch Judge Judy.
Look at
that. Seriously, when's the last time you watched that show? It's stupid.
Didn't even know it was still on.
Oh my God, it's awful. In Afghanistan, people who drink alcohol, according to a new law, are now subject to 60 lashes with a whip. So naturally, this makes that country less attractive as a spring break destination. And a destination for me. For the first time in history, more people are moving out of California than are moving in. In fact, it's so bad for every one person who says hola to say adios. Thank you. I didn't know if that would fly. I didn't know if that would be good. All right, in Melbourne, Australia, a 40-year-old man was arrested for stealing body parts from a cemetery. Prosecutors say it's a grave offense. New research shows that smoking marijuana can impair your ability to find your way through a maze. And yeah, it took me hours to get out of that thing. I was like, according to another new study, 25% of men over 85 years old, they had sex within the last year. Another 60% may have, but they just don't remember. Yeah, geezer sex. Not real popular. Sorry.
He's working for a free meal, folks. Come on.
According to the National Enquirer, Britney Spears' fiance Sam just sees Britney as nothing but a cash cow. Of course, so does Britney's dad.
Well documented. Can't deny it.
Also, according to the National Enquirer, I've been reading that a lot lately, Pugs. Gwen Stefani has absolutely ruined her face with plastic surgery. To give you an idea of how bad it is, people are confusing her for Renee Zellweger. And finally, I know, a bunch of Gwen Stefani fans. Happy birthday to Xena Warrior Princess actress Lucy Lawless. You remember her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say she's getting old, but she has a new show coming out called Xena Bingo Princess. And if you think that wasn't great, just remember, could have been worse.
I mentioned Lucy Lawless in today's birthdays. God had a good day today. Do you know that on this day in 1964, the good Lord created both Victoria's Secret supermodel Jill Goodacre and Elle Macpherson on the same day?
I don't know who's Goodacre. I need some JPEG confirmation here.
You are a New Orleans guy. She lives in New Orleans, dude. She is the longtime wife of Henry Connick Jr.
Oh.
Have you ever seen her?
Well, now that you say that, I've seen her, but I didn't know that was her name.
We're going to pull up. Oh, yeah. She was like the original breakout Victoria's Secret model. And Connick Jr. just scooped her up. She's like, you aren't modeling anymore. You're now Mrs. Goodacre Connick Jr.
Goodacre, huh?
Oh, yeah. She gives a couple of good acres. Here, let's see here. Let's get some pictures of her. That's okay. She's looking older. But you know what? That's okay. She's still a babe. She's an absolutely beautiful woman. See, got to really get her Victoria's Secret stuff. There she is.
Yeah. I've seen her. She's beautiful. I don't remember her being a model, though. I only remember her as Harry Connick's wife. What was that, a Baywatch picture? Was she in Baywatch?
There she is right there on the cover of Self in her younger days. That's her. Yeah, here now we're getting into some Victoria's Secret stuff that she did.
Well, happy birthday, Miss Connick.
Okay. Oh, man. Pictures of Jill Goodacre. Yes, please. Yeah.
Do her and Harry have sort of the Will Smith thing going on? Like, is she on the market or what?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't even know what she looks. I wonder what she looks like.
Not like
now.
I have a chance. I'm just throwing it out there.
She was born in 1964, so she is in her mid 50s. So
goodness. She's in her late 50s.
Yeah. Let's see her. Let's see.
She's
2021. Jill Goodacre, 2021. Yeah, she's still, she's here. She is here. This is when you start out so far ahead, you know what I mean? When you start out so beautiful.
It's only downhill after that. It's not fair. You can't maintain that.
But you can hold together. I mean, this is her in 2021.
Really? She looks better in that picture than she did in some of them 1990s pictures.
All right, look at that. I mean, if you met her in a bar, would you believe that she's what, 58? 50,
not even close.
56,
no, I wouldn't.
57, something like that. Yeah, no, she's a beautiful woman. All right, that's got to be her younger. That's got to be. That could be her now. Okay, whatever. That's enough. That's enough for the Jill Goodacre. And she's not even as beautiful as Elle Macpherson. I mean, she's like the ugly one that God made on this day in 1964. She's like the one. He made Elle Macpherson and he had leftover parts and he went, I can make another one. And he made another one and he said, I can't have these two women in the same hemisphere. So one of them he put here and the other one he put down in Australia. And he said, my work is done. And then on this day, 4 years later, he made Lucy Lawless. He was inspired again.
Yeah, and so all the other chicks that were born on that day are way down here. He ran out of hotness early on that day. So there's a lot of swamp donkeys that were born on this day and are still trying to figure it out.
Happy birthday, Kathy Griffin, also born on this day in 1964. Cheap shot at Kathy Griffin. I don't mind. I can't. Kathy Griffin was trending earlier today, I think. Or I don't know. I made mention of Kathy Griffin recently and talk about how she bothers me.
I
Oh, yeah.
like her. That and I feel weird about it because I notice she bothers almost everyone else around me. I like her stand up.
She's too confident. She's too confident.
I
I don't
like that.
I
I
think
like
that her
that. For her to be like a 7, maybe a 6 on the look scale when she was younger, at least, not now. And to be that confident, I like that.
mm, mm. You know who she went to prom with? Here's a fun fact.
Tupac,
No, that would be,
Jada
um,
Pinkett Smith.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
No, Kathy Griffin went to prom with, are you ready for this? What's his real
Gabe
name?
Kaplan,
No, no. What's his real
the
name?
other guy from Wham.
Dan Castellaneta.
Mm. Simpsons?
Homer Simpson. She
Yeah.
she went to high school, Oak Park High School, Oak
Wow.
Park River Forest High School. She went to prom with Dan Castellaneta. They've been friends their whole life. Look at that. And none of my friends see. I always get upset. This is something that bothers me when you learn that like two people who are very famous both came from the same random town and the same random high school. It bothers me. It's like, here's one that bothered me. You know who went to high school together in the middle of obscure cornfield, Iowa?
Is this like a Tommy Lee Jones and
No,
someone else?
no, this is modern. This is like current people.
I don't know.
The guy who plays Superman and Jason Momoa, the guy who plays Aquaman. There is a random high school in the middle of Iowa who back in 1996 had walking around their hallways the future Superman and the future Aquaman, and nobody knew it. Nobody, they were just like, just a couple of good looking guys in our high school.
Yeah, they're in their FFA corduroy jackets.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes, exactly. Maybe a pair of Z Cavaricis that they were wearing. It was Iowa, so they would be about 10 years behind the times. All right. James, I don't know what you got for today, but I wanted to talk to you about something really quick. I have a recommendation
Let's go.
for those of you who can handle it. I saw something last night that I just stumbled onto it, and my God, I got into a documentary watching mood. So I just went down to the documentary thing, and I believe this was on Hulu, maybe. I don't know, maybe Amazon Prime, maybe even Netflix. I don't know. You people can just Google it yourself, and maybe I will in a second. But there is a documentary on one of those major platforms, either Hulu or Netflix, maybe Prime, but one of those major platforms, and it is called Scotty Bowers' Secret Hollywood. Now, do you know? Does this even sound remotely familiar to you?
Where do I know the name Scotty Bauer from?
Maybe because I remember I talked about it a few months back when it was announced that it was going to be released. I did it as a topic on the noon show, and I was like, "Oh my God, I gotta see this." And then it came out, it was released, and it totally missed me. And now it's been out for like 3 weeks. And finally, I saw it, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you have to be okay with seeing man dick because there's."
Oh, okay. I just Googled it, and I think you did tell me about this. This is the pimp guy.
This is a guy, Scotty Bowers. He's dead now, but he just died a couple of years ago. He was like 90 something years old when he died. This is a dude who moved to Hollywood and opened a gas station on Hollywood Boulevard, right there in the glamour days of Hollywood. And he was a good looking guy. And he was pumping gas back in the days when the guys would come out and pump the gas for you. And Walter Pidgeon, who was a famous actor back then in the 1940s. I don't know if you ever heard him. He won a couple of Academy Awards or something like that. I don't know, he was a big actor, Walter Pidgeon. And Walter Pidgeon pulls into this gas station and takes one look at Scotty and goes, "Hey, how would you like to come back to my place and go for a swim?" And he was like, he wasn't even gay, right? But he was a hustler. And he's like, "All right." So he goes back to Walter Pidgeon's house and like is swimming naked, and they end up having sex, and he ends up, and Walter Pidgeon tells him about how difficult it is in Hollywood to, be a closeted gay actor because you weren't allowed. It wasn't like today, wasn't like today where you can just be gay and people love you for it.
Where you
It was
get
tough.
bonus points these days. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very tough back then. So Walter Pidgeon says to him, he goes, "I wish it was that easy where I could just pull into a gas station and pick up a guy. And this Scotty Powers dude goes, huh? And so he goes out and he gets all of these, like, struggling young anonymous good looking actor dudes and hires them to work at this gas station. And for like 30 years in Hollywood, gay actors, famous people in this documentary names names and brings receipts and shows pictures for decades in Hollywood, not just gay people, but also just dudes. He had some women working there too. Oh, because also for lesbians, he also catered to lesbians. So he would have so for decades, people would just go to this gas station and they'd pick out one of the boys or one of the girls and they'd jump in the car and they'd drive off with Katharine Hepburn or Spencer Tracy or William Holden. And this guy, Scotty Bowers, he's like, yeah, I was kind of different for that time because I'm not really gay or straight. I just whatever, $20 a pop. This guy would
Well, if
charge.
that's the case, then you're gay.
I know. I know, right? But he's a gay man who had a threesome at Frank Sinatra's house with Ava Gardner and Lana Turner. I mean, man,
That's
what?
less gay.
That's very less gay. Two of, in the history of Hollywood, if they were to make like the 100 sexiest women of all time, Ava Gardner is always in the top 5. She's always like one of the most beautiful. And Lana Turner is like up there too. And they were like lesbians who weren't really comfortable being lesbians. So they would always invite a guy to have sex with them.
Who's the other one besides Ava Gardner?
Lana Turner. Lana Turner and Ava Gardner. And he talked about how he had this long stand, and he's got pictures. This documentary shows pictures of him with these people, like hanging out and all of these. He had a long-standing relationship with Spencer Tracy, who was also gay. And for years, the rumor in Hollywood was that Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn were having an affair, and outside of Spencer Tracy's marriage, an affair, and it was scandalous. But their manager, their agent, who repped both of them, thought it was better that the public believed that they were having an adulterous affair that at least was heterosexual than for the people to find out that Spencer Tracy was gay and Katharine Hepburn was a lesbian. So it's crazy. It's so fascinating. The people
so Katharine Hepburn was a lesbian?
Yep, full, 100%. Never married. Always said that it was because of her work, and so was Betty Davis. They were the gay people.
Now, bi I understand, but lesbian? 100%er.
100%er. Yeah. Well, Katharine Hepburn was 100% lesbian. She and if you,
man, that did not trigger my gaydar at all, and I'm really good with the lesbian stuff.
It might now. When you see the way she acts, especially if you watch her in an interview, and the fact that like she never wore dresses, she always dressed in like men's clothing. She wore long pants, and she was considered a fashion icon for it. But really, it was just because she was not feminine. She was made to be feminine for movies because she was a tremendous actress. But no, in her regular life, she was very butch. She was, she didn't, a tomboy, I believe is how.
I never saw Katharine Hepburn off screen. I don't know. So it was before my time. I never saw an interview with her except for like when she was all kind of shaky. That's when I became coherent. That's all I remember of her.
Mama Beller says, I've seen this guy and situation in a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but it's out there. Mama Beller, you gotta see this, this movie. It's called Scotty Bowers' Secret of Hollywood. And it is fascinating. And it is just, Cary Grant, gay, lived with Randolph Scott openly. And then all of the newspapers just said that they were best friends who were roommates. Cary Grant did not need a roommate. Cary Grant was a big, massive
it's expensive out there, man. You got to split the bills. Yeah, right. I love that. Love it.
Oh, it's so good. So it comes highly recommended. And also there's this whole like sub thing about how super gay dudes in World War II was. And he edited a book during the making of this documentary where they're showing the book that he's editing. And it's called My Buddy, The Secret homo whatever of World War II, and it's filled, just filled with pictures from World War II, like dudes in Iwo Jima just making out naked with like their army hats on and stuff. And I'm like, what? This is not the history we were told. According to my frame of view, gay people didn't exist until the 1960s. That's just what I was always led to believe. My grandma and grandpa didn't know any gay people. Oh, yeah, they did. They did. And it just wasn't talked
Well,
about.
so there was the gay cartoon character that we all had in our childhood that we didn't know he was gay until we were adults. And it was that guy, was it Snagglepuss? Heavens to Murgatroyd. Even. Oh my goodness. The guy that talked like that?
Yeah. Who was that?
Yeah.
All those guys are gay.
Yeah, but
Those
it was the
guys.
cartoon character. It was like the pink like lion guy. And he had like
Yeah,
the
who played Snagglepuss? That's what you're asking,
yeah,
right?
Snagglepuss.
Who
Thank you.
was Snagglepuss?
Well, who cares who played him? Clearly, that dude was gay. You just
Oh,
didn't recognize it because when I was a kid, they were just called sissies. You know, the guys that were really feminine and they smoked their cigarettes like this and
right. Yeah.
right,
Paul Lynn. Paul Lynn, his entire career with Liberace. They were always, obviously now through today's lens, they were gay men, but back then
right.
they were described as just confirmed bachelors. Well, Liberace used to say, I've never met a woman who could measure up to my mother. When I find her, I'll marry her. Oh, creepy. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a good line at the time, but it doesn't float these days. It's a little weird. Little weird.
Let's see,
So he was
Bart.
voiced by Davis Butler. Okay.
No, Dawes Butler.
Dawes Butler. I'm sorry. You're right.
Famous Dawes Butler. Here, let me see. Let me just see. Look for something. Hold on. This might be a little bit rough for us, but
Or are you going to pull up Snagglepuss? Because if you watch it now, you're like, oh no, this is what I was watching when I was a kid. That's hilarious.
no.
Well, see Al over there saying Snagglepuss was gay,
I don't know. He sounded gay. He sure sounded gay.
but I didn't know what gay was at the time, and I
Right.
did know some adult men who were sissies. They acted like women. They had the mannerisms of women, and they hung out with the women. They drank what women drank, like Cape Cods and white wine and
well,
glasses with stems on it.
well, this is where it does kind of make sense. When you think about gender roles, especially gender roles in this time period, straight men didn't get involved with the theater. So anybody that was out in Hollywood who pursued drama and acting was not straight men took jobs on the line. Straight men dug ditches. You know what I mean? That was there were very
Harvested crops, plowed the field.
so when we think about the kind of man who at 17 years old would go, I want to go to Hollywood and be in movies and play dress up, it kind of makes sense. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like, yeah. All
Well,
right,
that's why they're so damn good at it too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No hate, no
There's a
judgment.
reason why they're successful in the creative arts is because they're really good at it.
These
They
are
can.
these are World War II gay dudes we're looking at. Gay people. What's going on there?
He's like I wasn't, but I am now.
Look at these two guys. Look at where those hands are. Come on, that's not how dudes hang out.
Be careful there, sailor.
I don't. Oh, there you go. There's what. There's like gay dudes on the beach in World War II. What's going on there? I think he's taking a close look at his belly button. Yeah. Anyway, it's a fascinating documentary. Look, a couple of sailors. Yeah, a couple of. Look at what's going on here. Oh, it's like a gay bar. It's like a World War II gay bar. Anyway, anyway, I was blown away. I was like, I had never considered that gay men existed during World War II and that they were doing stuff. There you go. You learn
Well,
something.
there's always been that strain of homosexuality that surfaced among the nobility, which
Oh,
because they
yeah.
they didn't have to worry about any negative repercussions to being open about it, whereas it was probably just as common in the lower classes. They just didn't have the resources to kind of tell everyone to shove off.
Nobility, homosexuality in the nobility was preferred. in certain circumstances because there was such a fear. They knew that there were sexual urges. People had sexual urges. So it was preferred that you would have sex with another man rather than risk impregnating a peasant. You didn't want to give the royal bloodline to a peasant. So it was almost like, it's better that, he's doing choir boys than he is knocking up a peasant girl. That was a very real concern back then, and that's why it was sort of overlooked. All
But right, the straight nobility though would plow through 1,000 peasant girls and just disown the child.
Yeah, there
You
was a
know,
lot of experimentation
and
that was
that's what I liked about Versailles, the Netflix show, is because Louis XIV was extremely straight and a womanizer, and his brother was extremely gay and a dudeizer or
a
whatever
dude,
the
a manizer, manizer.
manizer.
Um,
Oh, that's him now. Is that your boyfriend?
uh, talk to the people. This is my son. He knows I'm on the air. He probably hears me talking about gay stuff and then wants me to shut up. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. All right, I just kind of want to spy on him, so don't let him. He can't hear us. So did he turn off his mic? Oh, he did. Okay, never mind. All right, so Bob's going to tell me some gay military stories here. My basic training unit in Georgia, we were out in the field and it was so cold the drill sergeants canceled physical fitness training and let us dogpile to keep warm. And so,
I just said exactly that you were probably listening and wants me to stop talking about gay guys.
nah. Oh, he turned it off again. Okay. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a short phone call. He's putting it away. All right, it's a quick one. All right, are you back?
That was embarrassing. That was exactly what
Yeah,
I
will you stop talking about gay stuff? It's gross, Dad.
no, like this. Dad, I got a question for you real quick. I go, what? He's like, what are you talking about? I go, no, nothing. Just I'll stop. He's like, no, there's nothing wrong with it, but why? Is this the content you're doing now? I go, it's a grown-up show. We are doing conversations for grown-ups
Sometimes.
who are interested in documentaries, and this was a very interesting documentary. That's
What's
all I'm
wrong with
saying.
classic Hollywood lesbians, man?
That's right. Let's focus more on the Lana Turner and Ava Gardner stuff. He's not supposed to be listening to this. I was talking about. He's not supposed to be listening to this. Now,
Turn it off.
go to bed. Oh man, I just been reminded that I got to be responsible with this stuff. But also talking about the monarchy, there is a whole storyline about Wallace Simpson and the deposed King of England. Remember the guy who stepped down, King Edward or King whatever, he stepped down. Do you know the story?
Oh, he abdicated.
He abdicated. Yeah, he abdicated to be with his American. They were kind of covering for each other, if you know what I mean. And they're involved in this story. There's a whole plot line about them and what was going on with them.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah. All right, but moving on. Hey, look, nothing wrong with being gay to be gay people all the time. I'm just, I was just shocked that all of these people, these big, massive Hollywood stars, you know.
Oh, so you're telling me King Edward was gay?
Mhm. Yes, he was. Yes, he
So,
was.
but he abdicated for a chick and he was gay?
Because he wanted to live that lifestyle. He wanted to live away from the royal family, and he wanted to be in America because he had yeah. My son's listening, so I don't really want to go into all that
Dang.
much.
Yeah.
I know. It's a very, very interesting show, documentary, if you're into that.
What's
Hey,
it called again?
it's called Scotty Bowers' Secret Hollywood. That's here. I'll show you what it looks like. So when you see it, we'll just here. Yeah. I gotta
Sally
make
said the movie was called Hollywood. It was a Netflix series. Are y'all talking about the same thing?
no that yeah. Hollywood was a dramatization that had as a storyline. It included this Scotty Bowers stuff, but this is a documentary about the real. Right
Hi,
here.
Muffin. Look, Emily's back. Hadn't seen her in a while.
This is what it looks like. This is if you so when you're scrolling through Netflix and you're looking for a really interesting documentary that blows the lid, no pun intended, off of what your perceptions of Hollywood are. That's what it looks like. That's what the box looks like. Or, the what you'll click on when you get there.
Right. The
So
the icon.
these are all that's Scotty right there. He's like, I work at a gas station and it's a totally legit business. No, it's not. Now I feel I must clean it up. So I watched a second documentary after that. And here's another one that I can highly recommend. Completely different than that one, though. This one's called Mike Wallace is Here. Have you ever seen that?
Nope.
Man, it's a documentary about Mike Wallace and
So
about,
Chris Wallace is dead.
yeah, well, the 60 Minutes guy and the guy that was famous for basically inventing the whole gotcha question and people, and that's why it's called Mike Wallace is Here, because that's what nobody in business wanted to hear from their secretary. Mike
Ah,
Wallace is here. And it's like, oh God, let's go out the back door.
man, there's a dude like that in New Orleans. There's this investigative reporter that if his name's Lee Zurich, if Lee Zurich knocks on your front door, it's already over. Like he already has the chapter and verse, and he's been digging through your trash, and he's got some info, and someone tipped him off, and he went down the rabbit hole. And he doesn't confront you until he already has you dead. So yeah.
Yeah, every time didn't we used to have like Marty Griffin here, right? In
In
Dallas.
Dallas, yeah,
Yeah.
man, was a thing when I was living there, but I haven't been in Dallas, living
Yeah.
in Dallas for
He,
20
he was
years
big.
almost.
In Chicago for decades, we had Pam Zeckman. Pam Zeckman. You didn't want to have Pam Zeckman at your house. She was mean. Here, my son just sent me this meme. Can we read it?
I don't like where this is going.
Yeah, he just sent that. All right, son, we're good. We are good. We are off that. So what's on your mind? What do you got? You got anything today? I got a
Well, I
couple
like
of
I
things.
like to bring up stuff with you when I agree with Bernie Sanders, because
Ooh,
there's a little bit of overlap between like the libertarian worldview and the sort of AOC Bernie Sanders
yeah, but
worldview.
I'm not a Bernie Sanders guy. I think that he's
No, but you can appreciate when
there are
someone
some
like
things I agree with. Yeah.
yeah, you can appreciate when someone like me goes, "Oh, I agree with Bernie Sanders. We should really take a look at this. If James Parker and Bernie Sanders agree on a subject,
Mhm.
this might need a second look here."
It proves that crazy finds crazy, but do continue.
Yeah, well, look, one thing I just to set the stage, because this isn't what I want to talk about. Well, one thing I agree on Bernie Sanders with is um, like you remember when the head coach at Baylor lost his job because someone on the team had like sexually assaulted a chick, and
Yeah.
he didn't cut him.
Yeah.
And I said that's a ludicrous position to take. The guy hadn't been arrested. He hadn't been charged with anything. The police hadn't even come and talked to him. And someone told one of the assistant coaches that they had heard that this chick had got assaulted by one of his players. And it's not his job to go out and take fingerprints and
No.
start doing investigate. And so I was saying, listen, if someone gets raped, you don't go tell the football coach. You go tell the police, and they will come and put cuffs on him and throw him in jail. And if he's
Yeah,
in
let
jail,
them be
then
done.
he can't be the starting right tackle against
Anyway,
McNeese State or whatever. Yeah. And Bernie Sanders agrees with me. He's like, this isn't something that you go tell your Title IX coordinator. You don't go tell some counselor on your college campus if you've been, sexually assaulted at a frat party. You go tell the cops. Rape is very serious, and this is not something for school administrators or coaches in any capacity. So it's one of those where like, I like it when we can agree, because now I'm not just some sort of hack contrarian that just disagrees with whatever he says. Now, I am not so sure on this one if I agree with him, but Bernie Sanders has now floated the idea of getting rid of baseball's antitrust exemption. And I know this isn't like a sexy cool kids kind of topic, but I'm a solid maybe on that. And I thought maybe you would be the kind of guy, since you are a bigger baseball fan than me, that would have more depth on that
what is his
subject.
position? What is his position on it? I'm trying to pull up.
Okay, so there's a bill out there, and don't get too excited, because the bill just says it would like to repeal baseball's antitrust exemption. Now, for me, this can go a couple of ways, because what the antitrust exemption does is means under like the Sherman Antitrust Acts or
Yeah,
whatever
it's
trust
the
laws based
baseball
on.
version of the collusion rule. essentially. It's the same thing. NFL calls it collusion, but in baseball, it's the antitrust, where interstate teams do not constitute. Go ahead, I'll let you explain it, but because I'm formulating it in my head. But
Right. So since 1922, Major League Baseball has enjoyed this unique antitrust protection period that no one else gets. And Bernie Sanders said on the Bryant Gumbel show, Real Sports, that he would like to get rid of that protection. So I don't know if that means that he wants to get rid of the antitrust protection and then go in and break up baseball like they've done to other companies. Like the classic one is Standard Oil. But
right,
this is something they've threatened to do.
AT&T,
Yeah, they threatened to do it against Microsoft. They threatened to do it against Apple. They've threatened to do it against Facebook. But they haven't really done it in a long
right.
time. And depending on what he wants to do, I don't like trust law to begin with, but I definitely don't like antitrust exemptions. Where everyone else has to play by this set of rules, but because we like this sport in this league, they get exempted from these other rules that everyone else has to play by. So there's clearly like a shortcoming in the justice of the application of the law here. So I think in theory I agree with repealing the antitrust protections, but since I disagree with antitrust law, period, I really don't know where I stand on this. But I just like the fact that he's dealing with this because even though I don't know what his end goal is, I like where it's starting. See, this feels like something you've read up on like more than I have, and
No,
you would
I
have
mean,
answers.
yeah, I mean, I know about there have been discussions for years about baseball's antitrust exemption and what it means, but honestly, it's not really anything that I have a real well-formed opinion on. I, uh I mean, I understood it to mean that it basically allowed baseball to operate in a way that the federal judges have said that football cannot, which was with the collusion ruling in football, where they can't conspire among themselves in order to create an unfair competitive field, essentially. Does that make any sense? Do you know what I'm talking about there? I mean, collusion in football was more. I think your mic went off. Collusion in football was more aimed at one team calling another team and saying, "Don't hire this guy," or "This play, don't take this play." You know what I mean? And you will because it's a boys' club kind of a deal. But as far as the ramifications of everyday play with baseball, I have no idea what the antitrust exemption does. Yeah, this is above my. This is you want to talk about the shift. You want to talk about the new rule changes. I can talk about that, but yeah, this is Marvin Mitchelson territory for me when it comes to baseball. The
I don't know who Marvin Mitchelson is, but
famous baseball lawyer.
okay, fair enough. See, you at least know that, and I don't. But the antitrust law is always kind of suspect in the way not and listen, I agree with the way it's been written, but I disagree with the way it's written, but I really disagree with the way it's been applied because it's been really selective. Like you're allowed to have a monopoly, you're not, you are, you're not. We're going to break you up, we're going to fine you, but you still get to exist. We're going to completely ignore you over here. But baseball is in its own little legal bubble that no one else has gotten. And so
Mhm.
of course that's not right and something different should be done. I just don't know what. And so that's
Does
where I
does it
was.
stop somebody? Your understanding of it? Does it stop somebody from starting a competitive league? Is that have anything to do with it? Because I
No,
thought
no, no, no.
antitrust was creating an unfair advantage for an industry. I thought that's what antitrust meant.
So yeah, antitrust means there's a monopoly and they're not behaving well because antitrust law also allows monopolies. And look, the definition of monopoly doesn't mean like you're the only game in town, but you're like 90% of the market share. And so they have
Like
exemptions.
baseball.
Kind of. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 They get more than 90% of the market share. But there's ones that act good that the government doesn't move on. I'm thinking of like the one they told me about in college and business school was Alcoa. Like more than 90% of all the aluminum that we use in America comes from Alcoa, but they keep the prices low and the quality high, and so the big concerns about monopolies is that they can pick and choose who gets the aluminum, so they can pick and choose the winners in other downstream industries, and also they could just jack up the price and charge whatever they want and then just go laughing off into the horizon. But they don't. So as long as you behave in the way the government sees fit, they'll allow it to run. So it's real obvious how this is just a pick and a choose kind of thing. But
Well,
I don't know.
it reminds me, you mentioned the Standard Oil and all of that. Now, you're probably just barely too young for this, but when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, it was a massive deal when they broke up the phone company. When they broke up what was known back then as Ma Bell, Mother Bell. And in Illinois, like for instance, in Illinois, we had a company called Illinois Bell, and it provided all of the phones and all of the phone services for people who lived in Illinois. And then there was a Pacific Bell, which was on the West Coast, and there was like Atlantic Bell and Southern Bell or whatever, but it was all the same company that had an entire monopoly of phone service in America. And then at some point in like 1982 or something, they just said, yeah, you can't do that anymore. And the remnants of the Bell Company became what is now known as AT&T, which American Telephone and Telegraph Company. But now there's a million. Then there would be no Sprint. There would be no, well, I got AT&T, but there would be no Cricket.
MCI.
MCI. Yeah, there would all of these things. So that was a really big deal in my lifetime, but I was too young to really understand it. But now when I think back, I'm like, yeah, I remember all the Illinois Bell trucks and how there was only one phone. If you wanted a phone, there was only one company you could deal with, and you could only pay one price. There was no like cheaper version of a phone because there was a law that said, nope, this is the phone company, the utility. Did they do that with? I think they did that with energy companies too, except I don't remember it as being as front and center because there was also Commonwealth Edison, which was the only power source for the entire Chicago area when I was growing up. But now it seems like there's a whole bunch of you can buy power from other people.
Yeah, well, a lot of that is people are subletting the power that is created by the one monopoly granted power
Right,
company,
but they have
and
to sell it. They have to there has to be secondary markets where people can,
yes, but it's still going over your Edison power lines through your Edison
right.
switches and whatever.
But that
So,
seems like, yeah, we can't, those are ugly. The power lines are ugly. It's good to just have one set of them,
well, I have noticed in my lifetime, every single one of these air quotes antitrust movements, and most of them start off as lawsuits. In 20 years down the line, they all look completely stupid. Because look, over there, what was the comment there? Will says, you remember the 80s and 90s long distance wars?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
I remember that, and I remember lawsuits flying all over the place because Sprint and MCI were like, "It's not fair. We can't compete against AT&T for all the long distance industry, and they have a monopoly, and this is going to be bad for the consumer." And 10 years later, there was no such thing as long distance anymore.
Well, right. I mean, throughout the 90s, the early 90s, late 80s, one of the biggest advertising buyers in America was a company that doesn't even exist anymore. And that company was called 1-800 Collect. Do you have any recollections of 1-800 Collect?
Well, and
I
yeah,
mean, Chris
oh,
Rock did
dude.
1-800
All right,
Collect commercials.
no. I have a historic touch tone with 1-800 Collect. Look, for one thing, I remember Carrot Top being the other guy, the 1-800 CALLATT, AT&T's direct competitor to 1-800 Collect.
I remember that.
1-800 CALLATT, and it was Carrot Top just dialing it really fast on a payphone, like we have payphones these days. No, but the 1-800 Collect, they had Al Bundy or Ed O'Neill, rolling around in the phone patrol car.
The one that I
Remember
remember,
that?
yes, I do. Now that yeah,
Yeah, and so he would pull over like people using a payphone and be like, "Hey, let me do you a little favor here. Before you dial that number, use 1-800 Collect, save you and the ones you love the most it's a little bit of money while you're at it." And they were like, "Wow, thank you. Who is this guy?" And so it was the dumbest commercial. And after about a year, where this is in every commercial break in every football game that you watch, college, NFL, whatever, and it's in half of your favorite shows, we were just bombarded with 1-800 Collect commercials. My friend had a junker car that his parents bought him, and he was like, "Listen, dude, you don't have to go get me a nicer car. Can we just get a paint job? It has all like these rust patches and it's like really embarrassing. Just like the cheapest paint job in town is like $300. If you could just do that, it would change my entire life. And his parents were like, nope. And so my friend Jeff said to me and Zach, he's like, you know what would be unfortunate is if there was a random act of vandalism that happened on my car and, maybe somebody spray painted something embarrassing on it. And so then my parents had to get a paint job on it. And so me and Zach made a stencil that said phone patrol on there. And we spray painted it on the back of his car and on the front of his car and on the side of his car. And so he rolled around in this phone patrol car, but his parents didn't fix it. So he's like having to pick up dates and stuff. And he went to college in A&M in the phone patrol car. And people he hated it at first because people were making fun of him. But he was famous at A&M. He was the phone patrol guy at A&M.
Here, I found this for you.
And up, and beautiful double. Change side. And walk it, walk it in. Beautiful up.
Shooting.
Up, stay centered. Stay centered, stay centered. That's what I was talking about. Focus, bring it in. Look, pick up the phone and dial 1-800-CALLATT. It's that easy. Save big bucks on every call.
Save big bucks on every call. Dial 1-800-C.
I don't remember that commercial.
What? My.
I do not remember that commercial. I remember the 1-800-COLLECT one and I was looking for it, where the guy calls and he gets the wrong number and it's like some Hawaiian beach bar and it's like a Hawaiian guy who picks it up and goes, "Gonna nakabise." And the guy's
yes,
like, "Gonna nakabise."
That's literally what he said.
I don't know, something like that.
That's what he said in the commercial. You remembered all the random syllables. You don't even know what the hell he said. He could have said Pugs is an idiot.
I think I do remember. I remember that because I remember a radio show trying to break down exactly what that guy was saying, and it was something beachside, like Kona Laka beachside, like the bar, like he's answering it, the Kona Laka beachside, but he had an accent. Crazy, yeah. The 1-800. Here, maybe
look, Will's mind is blown because he remembers Carrot Top as a 1-800-COLLECT guy, and you just blew that away. Al Bundy was the phone patrol guy, and that was 1-800-COLLECT.
I don't see any Al Bundy. Oh, here. How about this one? Wait a second. Watch this one. I remember this one. I remember this guy. This guy. Oh, he was getting some work. He would go on to be something famous for something else. Here you go. Watch this one.
At the school of collect calling.
Save the people you call up to 44%.
Look, it's Newman.
This is your final exam.
Ooh, do I have time for a duologue? No, it's a test.
See, it's funny.
I remember this one.
No collaborating.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Dialing finger? Perfect. Dial. Come on, fish, think. It's the easiest thing in the world. Do what you did when you had a test in high school. Okay.
1-800-COLLECT. Learn it, use it, save up to 44%.
Stupid 1-800. I want to find the Kononaka B-side.
I know.
Well, here I got one for you. Hold on. I got one last one for you. This one, Yep, there you go. All right, here you go. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Something wrong, Flex?
Al Bundy,
Flex, yeah.
I see, and your precious little tootsies can't bear the walk back, can they? No. Not to worry. Just dial 1-800-COLLECT. It's fast and really easy to use. 1-800-COLLECT's a lifesaver. How can I ever thank you? Tell your friends. 1-800-COLLECT. It's fast, it's easy, it's safe.
I don't.
I remember every
use 1-800-COLLECT.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For what would you use it for? I don't think I ever used one of those calling services.
Payphones. That's when you didn't use it at your house. You used it for payphones. At home, you had some long distance plan that was 10 cents a minute, and you weren't going to do better than that anyway.
Emily's right. Seth Green did do some of these commercials too. I remember the Seth Green one, but the one that sticks out is Kononaka B-side.
I need to see that so bad. What was that from? Because I remember that.
It was a 1-800-COLLECT or maybe an AT&T calling card thing. All right, hey, look, before we go, I wanted to. Oh man, it looks like I screwed up. That's okay. We'll bring it up really quick. I wanted to watch a couple of things with you, just real quickly, and get your take on it. Here we go.
Hey, Emily, you missed Kelly last night. You probably want to go back and watch that.
Yeah. Kelly's going to join us on Mondays if that's all right with you, James.
And for the other ones, this little Venmo, PayPal, Pugscast, Cash App.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't forget about that down there either. Pugs
End
need
of the
some
month.
groceries. Yeah.
End of the month. We need some help. Did you happen to see why Jim Carrey was trending earlier today?
I saw the headline, but I didn't click through and listen to the audio. And I'm such a Jim Carrey fan that even when he says something stupid, I'm like, that's okay. He's a genius. He's allowed to say something stupid.
Yeah, he didn't say something stupid. He said something great. He said something.
Oh, good.
For my way of looking at it anyway, he seems to have said something. Of course, it's not loading. I don't know why it's not loading. He went on that stupid
He says
show.
Hollywood's not in the cool club anymore, is what the headline said.
Yeah, but it was more than that. That was like what he opened it up with. Okay, for some reason this is not loading. Let me see if I can get it to try.
Well, do you want me to do it on my side? I can share a screen.
Yeah, if you get it, it's him from the CBS Morning News talking with Gayle King, and he basically just trashes, Will Smith, and it's so interesting because here you have one megastar just being unafraid to go in on another megastar, and Jim Carrey was just like beside himself.
All right, you want to try it?
Bonnie? Yeah, let's see if we can. I don't think I'm going to be able to talk here though.
Doesn't increase your risk of infertility. It doesn't increase your risk of miscarriage. COVID-19 infection.
There we go.
What did you think as you watched it unfold, and then what happened after?
Hey, I got it here. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, you are looking at it. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were looking at it.
After.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. That insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. A lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work.
Is that it?
No, that shouldn't be it. There's a few more seconds left.
Yeah, it dropped out.
Hang on.
My copy.
And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do. And it was just a selfish moment that cast a pall over the whole thing.
I loved his take on that. He should have been arrested. I also wanted to play for you the Joe Rogan clip.
Credit cards, private student loans, unsecured.
I guess I got to stop sharing it on my end.
I think I got to do that.
Do you have on your end access to? For some reason, I was going to Mediaite, and Mediaite isn't showing up. But Joe Rogan echoed exactly what I said yesterday, which was, this precedent has now been set for comedy clubs across America. For anybody whose girlfriend gets drunk and loud in the crowd to get up and punch a comedy performer for doing what comedy performers do when hecklers get a little bit crazy. And he's absolutely right about it. The precedent has now been set. Nobody smart knows that it's right. I mean, it's a thing that dumb people are going to do, but we are surrounded by dumb people who are going to go, oh, well, Will Smith got away with it. Will Smith said it was all right. Not that they're going to necessarily be thinking that exact thing, but they've seen it done now. It has been, why can't you be like Will Smith and defend me? Defending your girlfriend from comedians saying something about them is now on the table. Violently defending your girl. And that's going to cause we're going to see this in comedy clubs in America. We're going to start seeing, watch the viral videos that start popping up over the next couple weeks of comedians being attacked on stage by audience members. It's going to happen. And the other thing that I wanted to play that I couldn't find was, I don't know if you saw Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel was great. Jimmy Kimmel did 7 minutes on this because he's a former host of the Oscars.
Right.
Jimmy Kimmel went in like defending Chris Rock and, going after Will Smith and all that. But Jimmy Kimmel also said something, and I wanted to play it because he said the exact same thing. Last night, he said the exact same thing that I said on my noon show yesterday and then on the Pillow Talk show, which was, it was like watching your uncle get drunk and punch your aunt and then come back and everybody acts like it was fine. Like nothing happened. Except the scenario that he presented was, it's like if your uncle gets drunk and starts a big fight at your wedding, and then a couple of minutes later gives the best man toast, and everybody acts like nothing happened. And that's what I said about Thanksgiving family.
All right, I'm also kind of partial. While I agree that words should never be met with violence unless it's like an actionable threat. A bad offensive joke should never warrant a slap in the face. Isn't there a place in society for people who get stepped out of line and some guy comes up and just open hand slaps them in the face?
Yes, when somebody is sincerely and seriously trying to insult you or say something aggressively, but the context is what's important. The context of this being a well-known comedian obviously doing material at the Oscars was not the same thing as some dude at a bus stop saying to your wife, fuck you, bitch, while you just stand there and do nothing. That's a totally different, comedy clubs, comedians, they need to be exempt. You're going to hear comedy.
I hear you. Okay, cool.
But yeah, no, look, I don't even know that, like, if, you're in a bar, right, and some drunk guy starts to insult your girl, you're probably going to fight. And although that
I would just leave.
Right. Okay. But you could see why that would be a fight. And it would be a little bit more justified than some guy who's, and again, I keep going back to this scenario, some drunk girl at a comedy. This guy isn't funny. We've all seen that at the clubs. And then the comedian go, wait, excuse me, darling. And then he takes a shot at her, and then the boyfriend gets up. You can't say that. Will Smith showed me that this is how you're supposed to react. That's the problem. That's the can of worms that have been opened here by Will Smith.
All right, so add this one in because this I thought of this other viral video back when viral videos first started. When the Will Smith, Chris Rock, this is the closest analog I can think of. So I have my share screen over there. Can you add it to the? Yeah. So 8th Street Comedy Club, Odessa, Texas, December 2006. You'll recognize Pauly Shore.
Yeah. But I know about this.
Well, you know about this. Let the people watch and see this, and then how does this compare?
It's not fucking cool. I'm in the middle of my shit.
Hey, fuck you. He paid to be here just like the rest of us.
Well, first of all, shut the fuck up, fucking hoss. What? I'm gonna fucking come up here. No, bro. What the fuck? Dude, stop. I'm sorry, bro. I know, but he was fucking talking during my show.
Everybody else has been talking to.
Well, you know what? That's fucking how it is. Sometimes people gotta shut the fuck up. I'm not saying anything.
All right, so Pauly Shore gets butthurt and walks off after this. I like the replay there.
Here's why I said I know about that. That was a hoax. That was revealed to have been a hoax. That was a stunt that Pauly arranged.
Oh, was that really?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I was
so
like, yeah,
cool.
that's a
Good for
bad
you,
example.
Pauly Shore. Good for
Yeah, right?
you.
I mean, it went viral, and he got all kinds of stuff. So, yeah. I believe it was the Opie and Anthony show where he finally came clean, and he said, "Yeah, that was another guy that I knew from there who I had come up on stage." So, I'd have to really look at it, but to make sure that it was. 'Cause I just pulled it up right now. Pauly Shore gets punched on stage, and then Hoax came up, and so I don't know. It might be real. I again, you caught me off guard. I don't have time to read this whole thing, but then there's clips that says Opie and Anthony show Pauly Shore comes clean about punch. So I don't know what that.
Oh man, I thought that was legit this whole time.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, don't
Pauly
sound like
Shore.
it to me.
Pauly Shore faked that heckler punch. December 13th, 2006. Pauly Shore, the Odessa, Texas Police Department got annoyed with all the news outlets contacting them about Pauly Shore getting punched. There was never a police report found because, as it was turned out, hold on, now it's buffering. But yeah, there was no police involved or anything.
Bro, why aren't we doing publicity stunts like this, man? We got to do something. This will take our little podcast to new heights.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not a podcast; it's a stream. That's
stream.
When people do that. There is a difference.
There is. Fair enough. It's a stream.
This is designed for real live time engagement.
Dude, I've been trying to think of a good publicity stunt for my tranny friends about to come out.
What's that? Oh, really?
Well, there's a documentary that's been made by a mutual friend of ours who's a filmmaker that's going to be in like the Los Angeles Film Fest, hopefully later this year.
Time out. Let people who may not be aware of this situation get a little context. James has a very close friend who is trans. And I mean, I've known you've known this guy for well over a decade. Yes, I mean, you guys go way back at this point. And
one of my top 10 friends in my entire life. Yeah.
And this is a person. I don't know, but at any rate, this is a well-established long-term friend of James. It's not just like he's referencing somebody he just met. So go ahead.
Yeah, and he's a known entity in the market where he plies his craft in broadcasting.
He's a famous radio person. They are a famous radio person.
Oh no, it's a he, and when he's in a dress, it's a she. That's his rules.
Okay, his rules.
Yeah, and if he doesn't like it, then if you call him the wrong pronoun, he doesn't really care. He just wants you to think he looks cute in a sundress. So. I know. That's a sham.
Fair.
I'm so used to it by now, though. Like I go over there. Oh, you're in a dress today. You look great. And thank you.
No, we'll see. He is not talking about me.
I might be.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I don't want to wear a dress.
You look good in a sundress.
I wouldn't know.
So he's been wanting to come out for a long time. In fact, he's been wanting to live as a female full time. Mm-hmm. And the nearest thing we figured out is he saved a little bit of money, produced his own little documentary about himself, and of course I'm part of it. And it's taken a while to put together, and they're going to shop it to film festivals, and hopefully he can come out that way. But I'm telling him, on top of that, there needs to be some sort of publicity stunt. You need to get like punched in the face, or just have some sort of plan to force everyone to look at you when the documentary comes out. Yeah. And something like this would be great. A punch in the face or some sort of publicity stunt. Anybody got ideas on how a trans dude can come out as a chick with
get some attention
stunt?
For it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a known enemy. So if we wrote me into it, because everyone, the media in New Orleans would just reflexively be like, "Oh, James Parker, the guy that was on WNRNO, that right-wing, fire-breathing bigot." Yeah. Well, of course he did something that's anti-trans.
It would work.
And then we show up at the press conference together. It's like, actually, we're best friends, and you guys are all suckers.
What you're doing right now is you are creating a control group for this contrivance. You are letting all of us now who are hearing you say this know ahead of time that it's so. Should it go squirrely and people come after you and think that you really are a trans beater, you've got all of these people here who are listening. This is your control group. We are in on it. So you're going to have multiple witnesses who will say, no, it wasn't real.
Good. Yeah, that'll help. Now, James has been talking about doing a publicity stunt for years, right?
All right. I think we're done with tonight's show.
No, and Emily, look, she says, to be honest, just let him go, let him be. Everyone deserves to be themselves. No,
he
I'm
doesn't want
fine.
that.
Yeah, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want it. He wants to
Stop
be
it.
able. Yeah.
See, this is people dipping into other people's lives, trying to direct how they want to live. This guy's plan is that he wants big publicity for it because he's a showman. So back off. He would like to be punched in the face by James.
Trying
to sell a movie. He's trying to sell a movie.
Whatever gets us the most attention, man, because I don't know who would gobble him up first, MSNBC or Fox News, because his political opinions are closer to mine than yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a conservative talk show host.
Yeah, and he's more of a conservative than a libertarian even. So,
although obviously the culture wars are something he has difficulty with because
we love it.
He is violating the culture wars with the way he's living his life. He is certainly running afoul of a few of them.
See, but Fox News would like that because it would be a trans person that in all other ways kind of agrees with them on most issues.
But that person already exists and has a boatload of gold medals. that person already exists.
Who is this?
Caitlyn Jenner is already that person.
Right. Good point. Good point. Nope, that's he is very much a Caitlyn Jenner. That's about his political views on everything Caitlyn says he is. So that's kind of interesting. How did I not put that together before?
Maybe he could pick a fight with Caitlyn Jenner.
He would lose.
Something like. Well, yeah, Caitlyn Jenner is occupying a world-class athlete's body.
yeah, but he's like 70-something years old. Hey, by the way, I can just to let you know, Pugs, I can beat up Chuck Norris. I can beat up Chuck Norris.
You're claiming that you can beat up Chuck Norris now because he's old?
Yeah, he's like 81 now. I just looked it up the other day. I could beat him up. And plus, I'm like 6'3", 220, and he's a little guy. Just on top of his head like that, it'd be over.
I bet you couldn't.
I bet I could set it up for charity. Let's do it.
You are engaging in what is known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. You have cognitive dissonance in your abilities. You have no idea whether or not Chuck Norris can still get around and throw a punch. He would clock you. He would just have to be able to move his arm. He would be able to hit you from an angle and in such a way that you would never get to the point of body slamming him.
I just feel like any 82-year-old can punch me as hard as he wants in the face, and I'll be like, that's it. And just thump him.
Yeah, I don't think so, James.
You know how many times I've been punched in the face?
Yeah, but not by somebody who knows really how to throw a punch.
The 5'7" guy that really knows how to throw a punch, and he's 81 or something years old.
He would hinge you. He would direct a laser strike. He would do a close combat jab. He would laser strike you right on the hinge of your jaw, and you would go down instantly. And you would wake. He would just bat like that, and you would not know what happened. He knows where to hit you.
Well, I would love for that to happen. I would love to get my ass kicked by Chuck Norris. Let's make it happen.
Yes, he would give you a thorax chop. You wouldn't even see it coming. He would kneecap you. He would do something.
What do you think? I'm going to fight fair? I'm going to try and punch him in the throat. I'm going to elbow him in the throat. I'm not some trained cage fighter. I'm just going to poke him in the eyes.
And that's why you don't have a chance, because an 80-year-old trained fighter knows how to put you down. I've seen videos of like 80-year-old karate dudes getting mugged on the street, and they whip thug ass. It's just easily with their canes, no less. I mean, have you ever seen that video of that little Chinese man, who turned out to be like a 5-dan black belt, and he was robbed in like Chinatown somewhere, and he just whipped like 3 dudes' asses, 3 teenagers?
I haven't seen it, but I love those videos. All right, we'll do it after the show. You hit the John Hinckley. We gotta go.
All right. There he goes. There goes
Later,
James.
Suckers.
Hey, folks, by the way, James said it earlier, you can support the show. End of the month, we could use the help. Anything that you can do to help this show make it to the end of the month. We're $1.50 down now. We got a couple of tips this afternoon. So we're $1.50 away from making the goal. 150. It's not $1.50. If it was $1.50, I could scrounge that up in my car seat. So that's it. And then we're good for another week. I don't have to.
And if y'all see Chuck Norris, tell him that's his ass. Give me a call.
All right, there he goes. That's James Parker. All right, that is okay. All right, now that he's gone, that is like insane. That is absolutely, if you were listening to the noon show today, I was discussing the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is the study that says that people who have absolutely no ability also lack the ability to recognize that they have no ability. So, it's like somebody who sees an 80-year-old Chuck Norris and goes, he's 80. I could probably kick his ass. See, because he lacks the ability to understand exactly how much ability Chuck Norris has. He just is cognitive dissonance is what it is. It's how people get injured. It's commonly today the kids might call it the hold my beer phenomenon, but it is known in the world of science as the Dunning-Kruger effect. Just go ahead, Google search it, look it up. It's cognitive dissonance. It says that people who are incredibly stupid and incredibly untalented in a specific area lack the intelligence to know that they are completely overmatched or completely out of their depth. Dunning-Kruger effect. I love him. I love his hot takes. But, sometimes. All right, again, help the show if you can. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Join us for the noon show. Thank you all for being a part of the show. And I'll give you an update on where we are with the fundraising for this month. Okay, bye, everybody. You're the best. And welcome back, Emily. I should have said this. I was wondering where Emily was, and Emily's back. Look at that. Welcome back, Emily. Welcome. John's here. John is the best. Byron, I want to make sure that I say thank you to all the good people that frequent the room every day. I don't want to just welcome Emily back and Jeff, you're great. We know you're all great. Bob 03. Dunning-Kruger effect started by investigating a bank robber that genuinely thought lemon juice would make him invisible. Okay, that sounds about right. All right, folks. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye. Is that what it is, Will? Cabana by the beachside. Is that it? Yeah, you know what? Okay, that makes sense. Cabana by the beachside. That totally makes sense. Thank you, Will. No 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow. That was Byron's move? Byron. Props. I'm going to give, in my mind, I'm giving credit to both Will C. and Byron, because Will C., I would never have seen it if Will C. hadn't reposted it. So I'm giving credit to both. Thank you, boys. Is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now. Things are good.